welcome to another episode of the Immigrant Education Collaborative Podcast. Today I have a very special guest. I have my big cousin in the house. Hudson, how are you, sir?
Fine, thank you, guys. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So listen, man, the reason I had to get you on the show is because I have this thing that I consider, I call it, sometimes it just takes one moment, right? And that moment for me was I was probably like a sophomore in high school, and you came and you took me to a Georgetown Hoya game at the Cap Center over in Landover. Um, and Georgetown was playing Pitt at the time. So you came, you picked me up, you took me to the game, kind of introduced me to college basketball. And it was just a fun experience, man. But it's one of those things that left an indelible mark on me because it's something that you didn't have to do, but I know what it feels like to want to do something for a family member. You know what I mean? And then you're like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And then you finally do it and you're like, okay, good, cool. I at least got, I got the shot off. So I really want to reach out to you, man, and tell you thank you for doing that because it's something that I think about from time to time. And it's also something I try to pass on whenever I get a chance. So I want to give you your flowers for that, man. Tell you, what a great thing that was for me. You know what I mean? And I never had a chance to tell you that, but I just want to do that, and let you know.
Derek, I can't believe you remember.
Yeah.
Wow. That's just me doing what I was taught. My grandmother in particular, my mom, and I'm taking you back to St. Vincent
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
our homeland, because that's my foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, just the fact that you remembered that little episode speaks volumes about you.
Yeah.
Because we know we all do things and we don't look for recognition.
Yeah.
Something from the kindness of your heart, and
Yeah.
it's done, it's over with.
Yeah.
So you're talking about what, 40 years ago or whatever,
A
and
long
and
time
you
ago. Yeah.
and you reach out to me out of the blue, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? So I thank you. I
Yeah.
thank you. But I'm not going to just accept that the flowers without recognizing who trained me to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I beg your indulgence. I have to give some people their flowers,
Absolutely.
and that's going to take us back to the land of our birth,
Mm-hmm.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Mm-hmm.
Little backstory.
Mm-hmm.
My father died when I was 16 months old,
Okay.
and so then my mom, obviously, she had 3 children, and she made a very difficult decision to leave me and my 2 older siblings with her mother
Mm-hmm.
and immigrate to America, migrate to America. Now, even in that story, I need to give someone their flowers because the first person that came in our family was Auntie Cynthia. That's my mother's sister.
Mm-hmm.
And mom told me she asked her sister when she was leaving to ask her sponsor to try to find someone to sponsor mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she said Auntie Cynthia wasn't in the country maybe 3, 4 weeks when she got a letter from her that her sponsor had found someone for mom,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to bring mom to America. So I need to recognize Auntie Cynthia because that's that old each one. We say each one teach one, but it's also each one pull one. You get stuck, grab this person, and that started a chain.
Yeah.
Mom, and then my other aunts, uncle, all of us. And then the outer village,
Mm-hmm.
they started sending for extended family members. And DC got a bunch of us now.
Right.
Right. So Auntie Cynthia,
Yeah.
I need to recognize her, bless
Yeah.
her. All right. And then so mom left me with her mom, back to the story. And the record showed that I was like 3 years old when mom left.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even know her.
Mm-hmm.
Father's died, my mother is in America.
Mm-hmm.
And so the apple of my eye is my grandmother, Mrs. Anna Lee Farby. The village affectionately called her Mother Farby because she was like a mother to the village. I recall so many people may not have sugar, rice, flour, whatever, and they would come by the house.
Mm-hmm.
Mother, you have some sugar, mother. Come on. she's given. So that's what I'm witnessing
Yeah.
at a very early age. If the neighbors didn't have paper or pencils for their children, they're coming by. And Granny will take my book or one of my other cousins' book or whatever, take the pages out, give it to her, break a pencil in half. You know, that's just the reality of who this woman was. So I have to give her her flowers.
Yeah.
And in our home, and you may know Auntie Norma and Uncle Elvin, there were two of my mother's siblings who were still there in St. Vincent. So Granny offered the nurturing side of things, but Auntie Norma and Uncle Elvin brought the more disciplined side of things. I know this is in the educational endeavor that we're doing, but we were held to that standard in that house. We were expected to achieve academically at a high level and to be respectful. Granny had a phrase, she would say, home training will take you throughout the world. So you're trained in the home, and we expect when you get exit this house, you will conduct yourself accordingly. Absolutely. And that was really true for the entire village. And, you know, right up the street from me, where I was, you know, being raised, you know, the De Silvas were right up the street. Mr. and Mrs. De Silva, Steve, and all those, you know, children, very close, same standard. You know, adjacent to them would be like my godparents, Mr. and Mrs. Augustus Brown, Tanty Brown, we call Uncle Brown. You know, the same standards. That's Kent parents and Tanty Gwen, you know, all that. The Pauls across the street, Mr. Weeks, Miss Greenaway. Same standards to the village that I was raised in. And this is just how we lived. Our constituency representative, Mr. Layton, we used to call affectionately Papa Lady, you know, where you could just touch your representative. He's there. He comes home from the city every day. We are speaking and waving to him. So ours is a very unique existence. But it's a tremendous blessing because that's what I'm standing on today. That's why I did what I did.
No, I love that, man. And I think that it sets us up for this this transition of coming to America, right? And I know for you, you came to America 10 years before I got here. So you got here in 75, I got here in 85, right? And you got here young enough, right? You got here 10, 11, I got here, you know, at 10 years old, 10, 11 also. So we're literally a decade apart. What I think, the thing I want you to speak on, I want you to talk about your experience, you know, coming to America and just adapting, going through the school system and, you know, what that was like. But I also want to do it in the context of giving flowers to our African-American brothers and sisters in the sense that, and let me tell you why, because we came here at such a young age, unlike some of our older family members, who didn't have the chance and the opportunity and the reps that we had as 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, sitting side by side in the classroom, having experiences, you know, riding a bus, you know, going to a football game, you know, with your classmates. There's just a lot of experiences that we had that our parents didn't have, that our older family members who didn't come at such a young age, they didn't have. So they didn't get a chance to really interact with African Americans, learn about African American history, culture, which is American history and American culture in the way that we did. So I want you to tell me about, you know, coming here in 75, you know, your welcome to America moment and that experience just, you know, adapting specifically, you know, once you started school in America.
Okay, wow. Okay, this one's going to take a little time because
take your time. Yeah.
Multi-pronged. Okay, yeah. How do I organize my thoughts? Well, coming here in 75, again, and it's funny you asked that because I recently had a conversation with a brother from St. Vincent. He's like, man, why do we, when we come to America and we're able to achieve, you know, we meet our brothers and sisters, Black African Americans here, and we're able to achieve and economically move by them. And I had to answer this, take some time. So the dynamics, right, that we need to break down. It goes back to slavery, actually. Our brand of slavery was different than what our brothers and sisters experienced here. For the most part, whether it's Barbados, St. Vincent, Trinidad, Jamaica, our colonizers, our oppressors left us and went back to Europe, France, England, Spain, Portugal, wherever. So that allowed us to develop a sense of self, our own little unique African Caribbean identity. And when you know who you are, it breathes confidence into you. Okay, so I mentioned earlier when I was giving my relative, my grandmother, her flowers, our church spiritually is grounded. Grounded. Okay, that village Methodist church or the Catholic or the Anglican church. So we're grounded spiritually. I mentioned accountability in our home, right? So there's discipline there. There's work ethic. We have, before I went to school, we had livestock, goats and sheep. I had to tie them out to grave. We had pigs. We had to feed them. Then I go wash up and I'm going to school. This is in the morning. So you're up early. So Mexico is the breadbasket of St. Vincent. It's agriculture. So we all work hard, even as children. So we have spiritual grounding, we have work ethic, okay? And now we are going to a new country, right? We also have that order, that discipline, right? And that's critical because academics and discipline goes hand in hand, as you know. So now we come to America and we kind of hit the ground running. All the things we need has been instilled in us before we exit Barbados, St. Vincent, Jamaica, where we're ready to go. Our brothers and sisters here still live side by side with their colonizers. You and I are here now, 50 plus years. We see that. Okay? George Floyd. That's what 8 minutes, 46 seconds, your knees on the person's neck. Are you serious? Come on. And it's being videotaped afterwards. But the callousness of it, what's the chances of something like that happening in St. Vincent? In Trinidad? In Ghana? Come on. That's the fundamental difference. They are still dealing, and now we are dealing with white supremacy. Period. Every day. I can get a call that Derek was pulled over, and God forbid. Fundamental difference. Okay? And we have to address that. So now, if I am thinking about the friction between brothers and sisters from the continent, the motherland Africa, the Caribbean, and the brothers and sisters here, I'm saying to myself, the onus is upon us, the visitors, especially now we have cell phones, to just Google. Because what white supremacy did was to feed those of us outside of continental America a lot of lies about the Blacks here. They're lazy, right? Shiftless, angry. Where'd Derek come? You and I came here still. I didn't see laziness in the Shaw community in Washington, D.C., where I settled. Howard University is the hub. I saw Black excellence. I saw folks getting up, going to work every day, trying to make it. Our older siblings may have had that. My sister's 8 years older than I. So she was basically home, work, school, home. I'm on the playground. You're on the playground. So we are rubbing shoulders. We are feeling their pain. This is America. But their living conditions, come on, their economic circumstances, it shouldn't be that way. Why? Black America built America for free. Lazy people don't build this. Before the great white migration from Europe to America, the infrastructure of this country was in place. It was put in place by Black America. Period. Undisputed facts. They were never paid for it. So it's going to take a little while.
Mm.
So patient with me, because 1865, after the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln's administration, the slaves were freed. The Lincoln administration actually issued an order saying that the newly freed slaves will be given 40 acres and a mule.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick Lamar just rapped about it in the Super Bowl.
Right.
The incoming administration after the Lincoln administration, Andrew Johnson's administration, repealed it. They were never paid. Remember that. This is 1865. The first slaves from West Africa, Central West Africa to America was in 1619.
Mm-hmm.
So 200 years have expired. They've been building this country.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. So you're free. And you'd be like, go make it on your own. You have nothing. No land, no shelter, nothing. And then you said they're angry. Really? Would you be angry about it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Come on. So it's when we learn the true history and break down all the lies that we've been told. Okay? And we see that it's still happening today with this administration. So out of that, they still had a chance to make it. You heard about Black Wall Street. Jim Crow was holding them back. They're still pushing. They said, okay, segregation, you don't want us. They went off and they started building their own town. Tulsa, Oklahoma, right here in D.C. Detroit Park, about our university. Okay? All over the country, doing their own thing. Their own schools, own banks, everything. The colonizers realized they're doing well. You heard about Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Oh, yeah.
Come in. It's always the same narrative. White woman was supposed to be raped by a black man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the excuse they need. They come in droves, burn the city, village down. One step forward, two back. They're still plucking, they're still grinding, they're still making. Come the civil rights struggle. Dr. King, Malcolm X, new generation on the scene, fighting, Fannie Lou Hamer, the list goes on. Out of that struggle came the 1964 legislation. And 65 was the voting legislation also. And part of the 64 administration legislation, something called affirmative action. Just basically trying to level the economic playing field. Because we have a two-pronged problem in America with this whole race thing. And we will get into white fear of genetic annihilation, Dr. Francis West Wilson, ISIS paper. Right now I'm dealing with the money part of it, the economic, the disparity, right? All of this was, no 40 acres and a mule was trying to level the playing field. They took that back. Civil rights came out, 64 legislation, affirmative action, 2023. The conservative Trump Supreme Court did what? Took it back. Progress for a little while, repeat it. Right? Right now, what are we talking about? DEI, which is nothing but a spinoff of affirmative action. We want to give people who have been historically marginalized and kept out of economic opportunity a chance. Not just anybody. These are highly educated, as you know, bright people. What's happening to DEI? As we speak, take it back. Okay. At some point in time, the truth is what it is. I don't care how you try to cover it up and put false narratives out there. You're going to have to deal with the truth. So if you notice now, it's almost like a silence as far as Black America is concerned with this new Trump administration. Like, man, we've been through, and I speak to the brothers and sisters all the time. We've been through some more, make your move. That's just what make your move. It's a very dangerous thing when people are quiet and just part. It's a cautionary tale. It's no fair. There is no fear in America. Trust me. Now, why? With the advent of the internet and doing our own research, to begin to realize who they are. They're getting to where you and I were in St. Vincent on Beach, right? The revolution is being televised because they're growing mentally. Knowledge of self. That's a powerful thing. With knowledge of self comes confidence. Look at America right now. New Trump administration, all the take back. Do you see them? You tell me. It's like we just don't care. What you gonna do to me? We done been through so much for almost 450 years. What are you gonna do to me that you haven't done? I'm still here. Black America built America. We're free. Our brothers, we as Caribbean Americans, African, indigenous African brothers and sisters coming here, we have to do our homework, use our cell phones. Oh, incidentally, invented by a Black man, Jesse Russell, to find out who they are, to break down the false narratives, to see why they're angry. And that will bridge the divide. And then you and I have a unique role to play because we immersed ourselves into African American culture at a young age and felt their pain. We can help our loved ones with these conversations to let them know. No, they're not lazy people. They're not just arbitrarily angry about nothing.
Yeah, man. And thank you for contextualizing that, you know, with that history lesson. I think, you know, that's one of the things that we share in common, right? Is we've had those experiences, right? And we, you know, whether it's in school through those experiences, but also in the books that we've read, you know, the stories that we've heard, to really understand the true history that really binds us all together in this country.
Right. And it's the thing too, so at some point in time, they always say, well, you know, Mr. Primus, what's the solution? The solution has to be like apartheid of South Africa. There has to be a monetary attachment. Just like 40 acres of view, that's money. They never got paid. 1941, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. Japanese Americans were rounded up and incarcerated, put in detention camps. They pushed in the South clearly. They were treated unjustly. 1988, President Reagan issued an official apology to the Japanese American community. And each survivor was given $20,000. As I mentioned earlier, when the Europeans came to America in droves, after the Blacks had built the country, they were given land, yes, to get started. After the World War II, with the Jewish Holocaust under Hitler in Germany, and droves of so-called Jews made it to American shore, they were given monies and other economic opportunities to get started. Those are facts, undisputed facts. Only the people that is most responsible for this giant called America has never received 1 cent in terms of payment, or I guess we can use the official term, reparations. Everybody else gets it. Everybody who America has wronged. Recently, America's allies, you remember 3 or 4 years ago in Afghan when that went up, they brought all those people who were helping them in. You think they just came and took them off the plane and left them alone? No, they're holding right in Annandale, Virginia, all around. Giving apartments, food, everything to get started. So you're sitting back as an African-American seeing how you will feel. Reparations has to be part of the solution. Has to be. When we look at the wealth gap in America, I'm going to quote this correctly, 2022, the average white household, I think, was 1.4 million. The average Black, 211,000. 211,000, 1.4 million household income. That's 5 to 1, a 5 to 1 ratio. That's basically, if we look at basketball, you know basketball. That's basically white America is trying to score a hoop, score 2 points, and their basket is only 2 feet high. They're just walking that through and throwing the ball and score. Black America, to try to score, their basket is 50 feet high. They have to throw it out to try to save. Are you serious? In 2022, that type of economic despair. And every time they made some progress to try to level that play, right now the playing field is this way. They try to get it this way. We see what's happening. DEI, affirmative action, 40 acres and mule. Take it back. So we could try to sweep it under the rug all we want, but their reckoning is here. And when you see what Kendrick did in the Super Bowl, you don't see fair.
Mm-mm.
That's a young man.
Yeah.
Bring it on. And that's a very dangerous thing for America.
Yeah, man.
You know, Zelensky just told your president, you feel pretty safe, but it's coming to your shows too.
Yeah.
You heard him. You're going to sit here and try to bully me and disrespect me because you feel so safe and you think you got the biggest gun, which is your God. But you need to recognize most of your army is brown and black people.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, this race thing has to be dealt with. And those of us who are standing on the shoulders of our brothers and sisters here has to do our homework. You and I have to teach.
Mm-hmm.
The rest have to get on their cell phones and just Google Black inventions. That's it. Black American inventions.
Yeah.
Granville T. Woods. You've heard of Thomas Edison being supposed to build the first telegraph. That's a lie. Granville T. Woods, Google this, sued him twice and won twice. He stole it from Granville T. Woods, a black man. You heard about Orville Wright and his brother, supposed to be the first to fly, first in flight. That's a lie. Charles Page, 1903, Louisiana. These are patents. Granville T. Woods have much over 50 patents. Charles Page. He got his patent 1 month before the Wright brothers. They never taught us about that in school.
Nope.
I just mentioned the cell phone. So the information is here. We're in the information age. We have Reverend Russell, Jesse Russell, give us this, use it. Google Black American invention. That will help us to see the greatness of this. There are 40 million Black people in America. If we were to get a piece of land and put us on that land, we're the most powerful country in the world. The creativeness. You want to talk about inventions? Right now, we all go and we give blood. Well, you can give the blood all you want if you don't have a way to properly store the blood. That's my fraternity brother, Brother Charles Drew. Engineer, medicine. We want to talk about athletics. We just got to the Olympics, right? 2022. You see the domination on the world stage. Do we want to talk about music and arts? Motown Records, Ella Fitzgerald, Count Basie, Louis Armstrong, bring it all over there. James Brown, Little Richard. And none of them were really credited. Well, some of the white artists at least came out and said, hey, David Bowie, Beatles, acknowledged Motown as the influence for their music.
Absolutely.
Elvis Presley stole all of Little Richard, all the dancing and shaking in between us. Come on. Yeah. It's total superpower in all aspects, not just music and athletics. Okay? So we have to do our part and we have to help our people. And that will bridge the gap because it becomes all about Pan-Africanism. That's it. No matter where you're coming from. What was that, Peter Tosh? As long as you're Black man, you're African.
Yeah, man.
And we need to recognize that. So that's all part of it. It's a major problem that I'm praying about, that we have work to do to bridge the divides. But I mean, that to me, above all the other acts, because he told me one thing. He said, when we win in America, Black people around the world win, because it's the biggest stage.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so we need to recognize that, and that's something we have to pray for and work for. Put the work here to try to elevate and enlighten our people, starting at our personal families, and let us pray. Right, that's the first part of your question. Second part is I told you it would take some time because there's a lot there to unpack.
But it works
The
though,
sales.
because in the second part, you're really going to share with us how you got to this understanding,
Oh,
and that's really just coming
yes,
to
sir.
America at 10, 11 years old and experiencing what you experienced is what helped you to get to this enlightened understanding of real American history, real African American history, but more
That's right.
importantly, the contributions that African Americans have made to this country.
Eric, you know we connected at the hip, right?
Yeah.
In all seriousness, 1975. As I
Hmm.
said, I'm given a very solid foundation. So when we land at Kennedy International Airport, those days, the flights didn't come to BWI.
Hmm.
We had to go to New York, and then your relatives come pick you up, and they drove us back.
Yeah.
Uh, I settled. My mom was living in the Shaw community in D.C., which is the equivalent of Harlem
Hmm.
in terms of Black culture. And wow, I mean, if you want to learn about Black America, that's where. So that was God.
Hmm.
I mean, we could have settled elsewhere in the city, but right there in the midst of it,
Yeah.
Howard University, Georgia Avenue. And obviously, as you said, as kids, it's a humanity with children.
Hmm.
It's a humanity there that we don't have the biases just yet. We just see another child and we're going to play.
Hmm.
And that's how it was.
Yeah.
My first move, I mean, obviously there's some differences in terms of the food and the music and all that, but children, we don't get hung up on those things.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to school, sixth grade, in Seton Elementary School,
Hmm.
and obviously I'm just mixing with the children. And outside of the accents, the difference, there's no difference.
Hmm.
But the school is predominantly Black, and I fit right in seamlessly.
Hmm.
Um, And because of the sound academics foundation that I received from SBG,
Hmm.
from St. Vincent, I hit the ground running, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I'm doing well. And the funny story is, the standards of home where we are supposed to place in the top of our class in St. Vincent, home being St. Vincent.
Hmm.
But it's the same standard when I came to meet my mom, Hudson
Hmm.
Primus.
Hmm.
Her standard was don't bring any C's in our house,
Hmm.
or there will be consequences. When I say consequences, you will cry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. In our culture, the belt will be used.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, that's easy for me because that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. So mom was like a carbon copy of her mother.
Hmm.
So that was easy. Transition was quite easy. And I need to give my mom, again, I'm standing on her shoes. And my sister.
Hmm.
Because when I got here, Gail had just graduated, I think, from high school
Hmm.
in DC. And she was in college. She was at Southeastern University.
Hmm.
So obviously now I'm running after Gail because I like what I see.
Hmm.
She's working part-time, going to school. Like, okay, obviously that's what I'm going to be doing.
Hmm.
Okay. But on the social side of things, I am making a lot of good friends.
Hmm.
A lot of good friends. And I'm beginning to feel and see their pain, so to speak. I spent 1 year at Seton. And again, that's the hub of Black culture in Washington, D.C. And then mom took me out of Seton because she was working at Sibley Hospital
Hmm.
in Palisades on the other side of
Hmm.
D.C., MacArthur Boulevard area.
Yep.
So it was great. She moved me to school over there, Hardy Middle School.
Hmm.
So that was like 1976, 77. And I don't know if you remember the docu-series, the miniseries Roots,
Hmm.
that great African-American Alex Haley
Yeah.
um, was out. I remember mom, Gail, and I together as a family looking at Roots.
Yeah.
And I guess it just captivated all of Black America. That's the first time I'm seeing stuff, like Kunta Kinte and all that
Yeah. Yeah.
names. Man, that's where we're from. But on top of that, at Hardy, I had an English teacher by the name of Carlos Hamlin. I need to give him his flowers. Bless him, he's still alive. Good brother. And obviously the curriculum had the basic Dr. King and Malcolm stories, but nothing about, the Fannie Lou Hamers of the world. It was limited. But Mr. Hamlin took it upon himself as required readings, he wanted the boys to read the autobiography of Malcolm X.
Hmm.
So I read that book in conjunction with Roots. and I've never been the same.
Yeah.
And we talk about this knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
It's power in me because I'm beginning, this is who I am, right? You feel good about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? And now, and I didn't realize it then, what's really happening is I'm drawing closer to Black DC and Black
Mm-hmm.
the bonds because I'm recognizing there's really no difference. The only real difference between Blacks in DC, the America, pardon me, and Jamaica, Trinidad, Aruba, wherever, is a boat stop.
Mm-hmm.
We all basically slaves that landed in this region, the Americas, was from West and Central Africa. So that literally you and I could be blood brothers, same mother, same father, and let's say in Benin, which is called Nigeria now, one of the foremost um, intellectual um, societies in the history of man, was Benin. And we could be from there, from that side of Western Africa. And you and I, same mother, same father, colonizer purchased me, took me to St. Vincent, one purchased you, and brought you to Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference. The only difference is a boat stop. That's it. So Roots, Malcolm's family were Garveyites.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading that in his book. I'm seeing the connection. His parents from Grenada.
Mm-hmm. His
I think his mom from Grenada, right? Marcus Garvey, Jamaica. So you're beginning to see there is no difference.
The diaspora.
The diaspora. And that's where it started for me. And I'm here side by side, meeting brothers and sisters who look just like me, feeling their struggle. Okay? But I'm doing well academically. The issue becomes why? And that's the question the brother asked me a week ago. Why are we able to? And it's because of our foundation. They are still struggling with oppression. All of what I just pointed out.
Yeah.
We came here, the power that Roots gave them and Malcolm, and they're getting now the internet, we had that when we got here. We had that foundation. And now I'm understanding the difference.
Yeah.
So it's not that, hey, look at you, I'm smarter than you.
Yeah.
No. See, the Bible tells you you must first get wisdom. But after you get wisdom, you need to get understanding. I'm gaining understanding now, which is what I'm saying the solution is to bridge the gap, the divide between the different acts. We need understanding. Why did it seem like their wheels are just spinning in mind? Well, guess what, Derek? We are living it still. DEI, affirmative action, take it back, all in place to level the playing field, removed. Never been paid for hundreds of years of free labor. We didn't have that. When our colonizers left, the first prime minister, when I came to my senses, looked like me. The Honorable Milton Kent. My constitutional representative, Mr. Latham, looked like me. My doctor, my lawyer, looked like me. In America, they're still talking about the first Black president, the first Black this, the first Black that. That's why. So now I'm doing well academically. At Hardy, that goes on to Alice Steele Junior High. Still doing well by God's grace, and then on to Woodrow Wilson High School. We had a conversation some time ago with two brothers who I call my brothers. Our parents, my mother and their mother, worked together civilly. We're very close. I call them Aunt Louise, John and Peter. And we were thinking about the persons who got out of that community where we lived, right at Kennedy Playground, 7th and O Street. In my apartment building, I know of two persons, myself and Tom Sayers, in that big 10 stories house, all those children. John and Peter, two young brothers born in Jamaica, immigrated here like I did at a young age. doing quite well. Went to Tuskegee. I went to Pitt Home. I think went to Alabama State, then on to Brown University. A total aberration to have children come out of those communities and go to college. So affirmative action was necessary. Because what it did was it also extended to PWI, predominantly white institutions. That it can take, listen to the words, affirmative action to ensure that marginalized people are given an opportunity to attend at the University of Pittsburgh, to attend Harvard, Cornell, Michigan. That now is gone. It's been removed. Okay. But again, I benefited from affirmative action, not because I didn't have the academics. As you know, Woodrow Wilson was the foremost high school in D.C. High academics. On the road, did well. At the Pitt on scholarship. It's never that you just giving me a handout or I do not qualify. It's that you will never have even looked at me as a potential candidate through your biased lens. But now there's a law in the book that says you have to look at them. You have to. When I submit my application, you're not just going to throw it in the wastebasket. You have to thoroughly analyze and say this person, Hudson Primus, deserves to be at the University of Pittsburgh. We took that away. See, so it all ties together. It all ties together. And we come and our work ethic is in place, our academics is in place, and we take advantage of the opportunity and we move on. Same thing with brothers and sisters from Africa. And the people who build the countries are here with their wings spent, trapped. And it all comes back again. And I have to use my little hip hop analogy, you know, Wu-Tang Clan, cash rules everything around me, cream. This is America's capitalism. Cash rules everything around me. Reparations. Reparations for the acres of the mule. They need it. Not for me and you. Our reparations is going to come from England. Comes from England. For the brothers and sisters who built this country. They deserve it and they need to have it. And this country will not be at peace until Black America is dealt with fairly. Never peace.
Until that debt is settled.
Until that debt is settled.
But now I appreciate what you're saying, man. And again, I'll bring this up again. I think what you and I have in common is that we came here at a pivotal time, right? We came here with the grounding from St. Vincent from back home, but we still got here as children, right? And again, we got to grow up alongside other children, you know what I mean? Especially Native Black American children. And I think that kind of puts us in that in a pivotal role, right? For us to connect, to help to provide perspective, right? To other folks, especially in our family, in our community, who are older, who didn't have those opportunities, right? So I think what you did is you did a great job of encapsulating that, right? And representing that through your story, through your experiences, but also through the lens of, you know, American history, Black history in America. And I think it's a pivotal conversation for us to have. And I appreciate you, you know, tying that together. What I want to ask you now, though, is with those experiences, right? How has that, you know, just going through what you went through, being born in St. Vincent, coming here as a 10, 11-year-old, understanding the history, learning about the history, fully immersing yourself in the culture and having an appreciation for, you know, for the excellence, you know, the Black genius that, you know, a lot of times goes unnoticed, unrecognized. What has that done for you in terms of like your personal growth and your ability to, you know, to be the best, you know, version of yourself, having had this experience?
Well, from Wilson High School, as you know, I went on to the University of Pittsburgh. That's why I took you to the ball game.
Absolutely.
I was playing Pitt. You know, so, you know, me and my football, whatever. And it got me to the University of Pittsburgh. And I recall, my sister by then had graduated, and she was an accountant. She did accounting at Southeastern University. Big up to my big sis. And I was running after her. So when I got to Pitt, mom, before I left, she's like, well, what are you going to major in? What are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to do what Gail did. I want to be an accountant, right? And he said, well, you know, your father, when you were born, said he wanted you to be a lawyer. So I'm like, ooh, I didn't know that. Light bulb. Remember, he's been gone my entire life. And I said, okay, well, in America, the way the system is set up, I still went in and majored in business administration and accounting at Pitt, a little dual major program. So I followed my big sis, and she didn't know I was on her, but I need to let her know how much I love her and appreciate her. And in America, the way the system is set up, you have to do your undergrad degree, and then you apply to law school. So when I was finishing Pitt, I went through the process, applying to law school. Again, the academic side of things, I think for a lot of us from the Caribbean or Africa, you know, we tend to do well. And I have a lot of friends still, and we tend to not really struggle academically because our tertiary education in the Caribbean is pretty good. We have a solid foundation. And so that got me started off onto the law path. And so I need to recognize my father because I didn't know him. And, you know, when I went back in St. Vincent in 91 for my grandmother's funeral, I went on a crusade in the village, you know, Mexico Hope Road, to inquire what type of person he was. And he was a farmer, like, you know, most of our parents were, the men in particular. No secondary education. So the fact that he, being a farmer, and I'm not looking down on profession at all, so oldest profession, and we all got to eat. But he said the need for, he wanted his son to be an attorney, and he died. Well, that's like he spoke it into existence. And I felt good. Again, the truth. Hardworking man, to a person everyone I spoke with, Mr. Caesar, always bless him in their graves, man. It's like your father was a hardworking man. And he made his money in Aruba. Aruba was one of the first places we, you know, our parents, Trinidad had Aruba oil. Oil was in Aruba, oil was in Trinidad. And then a lot of folks went to England, as you know. His stop was Aruba. And he made his money, came back on board lands, and it was working. Unfortunately, you know, passed at a young age and left that message with my mom, who told me, and that's what started me on that path. So my flowers to my father, and I have the opportunity, bless him. And that ultimately took me to England to do the conversion. So I can practice at home. I may never make it back, but that was really respect and love due to James Primus, my father.
Absolutely.
And she also told me, she said, he named you after Hudson Primus. So I didn't know who he was, obviously. And later on, I think when I realized this guy was probably one of the most foremost attorneys in the history of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And he was a constituency representative from at home, a government official, parliamentarian, as we call him. And I never got the opportunity to meet him because, you know, he was passed in a plane crash. When I got there, he had died. When we went back home. But again, just the way life is, you never know. And, you know, so that's where the name came from, and that's why the profession was to honor my father. Okay. All the while, you're making this progress and doing these wonderful things, but you're surpassing a lot of wonderful people you met at 11 years old,
Yeah.
7th and O Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. And I just went to basketball game this weekend. I ran a couple of guys I played rec league basketball with. I can't even remember. That kind of pains me still.
Yeah.
Because I know they're good people. No, I'm not brighter than they are. No. No. From birth, just to have a chance.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. We had a better opportunity because of the foundation we got.
Yeah.
And our brothers and sisters here got it. Yeah, that's just a fact. So going forward, Derek, for me, is to reach back and help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta. It's in me, it's driving me. I'm standing on the shoulders of some great folks who give me a good foundation in St. Vincent. And also the brothers and sisters who built this country and giving us an opportunity to come in. So I gotta help. I have to help. These speaking engagements, I've been honored people usually invite me. Black History Month, was honored to do a few of them. Scholarship monies, give freely.
Yeah.
Have to. Have to. Let's give back. I have to reach back. I have to.
Yeah.
Okay? Because it's not about me. I'm a nobody, bro.
Yeah.
I'm zero. I'm trying to tell. I've just been blessed with some wonderful people.
Yeah.
And I've just been blessed, as you've said numerous times, to come to America at a pivotal point. Because that age between 9 and 12 is great.
Yeah.
You and I got the foundation from the land of our birth, but we're young enough where it allows us to assimilate into African American culture in America, which is American.
Yep.
Seamlessly, without hiccups.
Yeah.
My sister may most struggle because she came in older. My mom, our parents, they came older. So they may have some of these questions.
Yeah.
Not you and I. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
You have to do something with that.
Yeah, man.
And that's to help somebody.
Yep.
As my mom and my grandmother will say, just help somebody.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So that's what that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm continuing to do.
Yeah. No, we're obligated to do that, man. And I thank you for because this is like I said, it's a very special episode for me, right? For you,
right?
Because we have that decade apart from 75 to 85, and then our journey is, I'm literally just 10 years behind you. You know what I mean? And I think for, what all that we've been given, you know what I mean? The opportunities, the relationships, the experiences that we've had, it's only helped to enhance us, to make us, better human beings, man. So I thank you for taking the time. I know you want to give a shout out before we go, man, to, when you came to DC, the other Vincentians who were here and other people, man, just shout out at all the folks. I know you talked about, running against Noel and you all not knowing, that each other,
have to
Yeah.
deal. This is a crazy story. Noel South, right? Beckett's younger brother. They were actually, I don't know when they got here.
Yeah.
But they were actually in DC. For a long time, we thought we were the only family from St. Vincent.
Yeah.
There were obviously Jamaicans and Trinidadians, the two large islands. Yeah. But it wasn't until I think I was at Pitt, I met Noel, was trying to form that organization, the Vincentian organization in DC. And he was present when we started talking. And we were just talking like me. So he said, I went to Blue High School. I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, you graduated. We graduated the same year, same age. I went to Wilson. Told him I was sports when I played football, played basketball, ran track. Like, I ran track too. Like, where? He said, Fort DuPont. I said, where? He's like, what after it was October?
Yeah.
I said, I ran against you. I was running for Wilson. So again, connected at the hip, not knowing it. But I have to give a shout out to knowing this family.
Yeah.
Because Pearlie, bless her in the grave.
Yeah.
Beckett was a good friend of mine, good brother.
Yeah.
Because they did basically the same thing. I want people to think our families are giving back, sending barrels home. You know what we do. Or helping people to come. Some of these folks came here, my moms and their sisters. They were always reaching back, trying to bring somebody here.
Yeah.
Let's help this person. Let's help that person.
Yeah.
Find a sponsor. Mr. Purdy, them over there doing the same thing.
Yeah.
What am I saying? That's our culture. That's what we do.
Yeah.
You get the opportunity, help somebody.
Help somebody. Yeah, man.
Help somebody.
Yeah.
So no, now we still, it's still my man.
Yeah.
But that's how we actually met.
Yeah.
That's how we met.
Yeah.
Later on, I got off into hip hop music, but not, can't overtake soca
Yeah.
or reggae.
Yeah.
But we all have relatives in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So I was able to meet my man Fife Dog and those dudes, bless him,
Yeah.
Tribe Called Quest,
Yeah.
the brothers Trinidad,
Yeah.
Buster, and the brothers from Jamaica.
Yeah.
So we're so interwoven.
Yeah.
Particularly in New York.
Yeah.
But you see the connection always in the music.
Yeah.
If you listen to hip hop with that bass line long enough, you don't think you're listening to that rock and soul,
Yeah.
or some reggae.
Yeah.
The same people.
Yeah, man.
It's all West to Central Africa.
Thank you for this, for sharing your story, man. This is living history, man. You know what I mean? And
That's
I
right.
think it's good for us to have this conversation. I'm glad we got a chance to connect and record this and set this
That's
on.
right.
I know it's going to help my kids. Hopefully it'll help your kids. Hopefully, somebody else will get a chance to glean something from this. But this was really for me, man, to just honor you and give you your flowers for, taking the time out to, take me to that game, man. It was a small thing probably in your eyes, but it was a big thing to me. You know what I mean? So I want to thank you again. And I want to thank you all for tuning in for another episode of the Immigrant Education Podcast. I'll catch you next time.
Thank you, my brother. Bless you, man. Bless
you.
Thank you.